Thank you. I believe we are live, maybe.
Looks like we're recording, so I'm assuming we're live now.
Give me just 1 second. We're now live, Judy.
Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Judy Peterson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for the Fairfax County Park Authority. Welcome to our meeting, and my apologies for a few minutes of delay as we got a few bugs out of the system. Welcome to our information meeting. Tonight is an opportunity to present information, to gather input, and hopefully to answer any questions that you may have. No decisions are going to be made this evening, and a recording of tonight's conversation will be available online in about a day or so. This is a staff-led virtual public meeting, and although we may potentially have Board of Supervisors members and Park Authority Board members in attendance, again, I want to reiterate that this is really a community meeting, and any elected and appointed officials will not be voting at this meeting on any part of this project. They are simply listening to your input. The meeting is being held and conducted electronically through a dedicated video and audio conferencing system, and we'll explain in just a couple of minutes how the public can participate in our meeting. Now, you can access this meeting via the public input link found on the Park Authority website, and the public can also participate by phone by calling 855-925-2801 and entering the code 4887. Let me acquaint you with how our virtual meeting works and how you can participate in what I call the Virtual Meeting 101 tutorial. For the duration of the meeting, we'll be accepting comments and questions in the public input chat box. If you can't see that chat, please go ahead and refresh your webpage. You should be able to dial in and speak to us over the phone and call the number located right above the video. Again, 855-925-2801, and then enter the code, also right above that, 4887. I believe that Yasmin is putting that in the chat as we speak. Once you dial in, the recorded message will ask you to press star for more options. And if you want to join the speaker queue, you can press option 3. This will pop you into the speaker queue, but also allow you to listen to the meeting, okay? And at this point, you may want to step away from your computer because if you're joining us there, there's a bit of a delay and it may be confusing. Plus, we will all hear ourselves twice through your phone. When it's your turn to speak in the queue, we'll let you know that we're ready for your call, and a pre-recorded voice is going to prompt you that it's your turn. At that point, you'll state your name for accessibility requirements and make your comments or give us a question, and you'll have 30 seconds. And we'll give you a little prompt when your time limit is nearing, and we'll ask you to remain on topic. And I promise to repeat this because it's a little bit complicated. Let me begin our meeting by recognizing some of our officials and staff members that are in attendance. Let me begin with Jane Edmondson, Chief of Staff for Drainsville District Supervisor John Faust, and John is not able to join us tonight. I also want to welcome Tim Hackman, our Park Authority Board member representing that district. Also attending this evening are Deputy Directors Amy Vosper and Sarah Baldwin. So we're discussing a proposal from the McLean Youth Soccer, also known as MYS, and representing them will be Louise Wexler, Executive Director of McLean Youth Soccer, as well as Julie Dabrowski, who will also be speaking. We have a lot of expertise in the room as well. Additional to the people that I've already mentioned, we have Oliver Aquatel, who is the area manager. And from the planning division, we have Andrew Miller, who is the project coordinator and manager of the building branch. Some others that we are counting on tonight who are behind the scenes, they're pulling the ropes and moving all the levers. Hannah Krass, Don Tubel, and Yasmin Shafiq from the Public Information Office. So having done all of that, we want to begin with remarks now from Ms. Wexler, representing MYS. Please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Judy. I appreciate all of you being present for this conversation. And just a brief history, approximately, I'm going to say maybe a little bit more than a year ago, we approached the Fairfax County Park Authority about constructing a facility at Lewinsville Park. We recognize that there are 2 multi-purpose fields that the club has constructed. We also have tennis courts, we have baseball fields, farmers market, and it's multi-purpose with football, flag football, lacrosse. But what we're lacking is a sanitary facility for the people that visit that park. Also, McLean Day is held there. So there are maybe 3 to 4 porta-johns. I think for us during COVID, we recognized how volatile the community viruses are spreading. So for us, we brought in our own porta-johns that were flushable units with hand washing stations that we felt we had an obligation to the members that visited the park. On any given weekend, those fields are in use from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. They are in use every weeknight from 4 till 10 with McLean Youth Soccer participants. And there's just not adequate, there are no adequate facilities. Further to that, there's no shelter for the kids that are out on those fields. It's been a problem when weather comes in, lightning, obviously parents are not present. They drop their kids off and then we're responsible for them. What we've done is, unfortunately, we've taken them up to the porch at the building, the house, and kept them there until, the storm had passed or we actually had to cancel. So we thought we would continue to give back to this community. And that is a prime location for our club. It's the only facility that has 2 fields, 2 lighted fields, I might add. So you can imagine the number of kids we put on those fields on any given day. And this is a project that we believe in. We believe that there should be shelter for people. We believe that there should be clean restrooms, family restrooms. And also, it will help us to be able to store equipment within the facility itself, a storage area for all of the equipment that we put out on the fields.
Louise, I just want to let you know that Julie is on the phone line if you would like us to bring her into the conversation at some point.
That would be great. Julie is welcome to join us.
If the tech folks can bring Julie on the line. Julie, can you hear me? Sounds like a slow sentence from a musical. Julie, are you on the line? Well.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Here we are. Julie, can you hear us?
Wonderful.
Would you
Yes,
like
I
to
can.
add
Thank you. Sorry.
I'd like to add to Louise's comments.
I sure would. Yes. So as both a board member for McLean Youth Soccer, as well as a parent that has 2 kids, both in the soccer program, as well as in flag football and lacrosse, I wanted to just give some additional detail in terms of why we feel like this is so important for the community. Louise had mentioned Community Day. There's also the farmers markets that are there. And as of right now, with those 2 porta-johns in the location that they're in, not only is it not sanitary because they don't have the hand washing stations, but also it's really dark over there. There are no lights where it is and so unsafe for kids. And Louise had mentioned that oftentimes we'll try to put kids on the fields until their parents get there. But I will say if the coaches and staff don't get to them quick enough, they run over to where the baseball fields are and stand under a tree, which is also incredibly dangerous. And so I think that that's another reason why this is so important. And also it would be a place for families when they're at the park for a variety of sports that they're typically either watching or dropping their kids off, but a place to be able to change younger kids' diapers and actually be able to go into the facilities with their children that are not old enough to do so on their own. And so that's why we feel like this is such an important project and will not only benefit the McLean youth soccer community, which again has thousands of kids there on a weekly basis, but also the broader community and visitors that are coming in from all over the country for a variety of different sports.
Thank you. Louise, I'm going to give you the last word in terms of MOIS right now. And Julie, if you want to come back on during our comments period, that'll be fine too. Louise, did you want to add anything
I just
else?
think, to wrap up our perspective, I think our club has given so much to this community with, I believe we now have 8 synthetic turf fields that we've built. And it's not just for McLean Youth Soccer. It's for all the kids in this community. Many of our kids, as Julie just mentioned, play more than just soccer. And for us, we're fortunate that we have a great club. As Julie said, we have so many players and so many families that step up and they help, as we experienced with the Holiday Field. So if we can continue to give back to this community, as long as we are able and we are financially sound, we will continue to offer more projects to the county and partner with our association. So I will leave it at that.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, at this point, we'd like to move on to Andrew Miller, who is with our planning division. Andy, would you like to pull up the presentation and let's find out some more details.
Okay. I'm not actually pulling it up. There it is. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Miller, manager of the building branch and planning and development of the Park Authority. And thank you, Louise, for the comments. In this opening slide, you can see the existing portable restrooms. We're proposing through MYS a more permanent facility. Next slide, please. The location of the existing portable toilets are, as shown in the serial map. As you pull in off of Chainbridge Road and you approach the parking lot on your right, the portable toilets are on the left. On the other side of the portable toilets between the parking lot and the fields is a pathway connecting the center of the park to Chainbridge Road. Our proposed facility will be in the same location as the existing portable toilets, just to avoid master plan complications. And we're proposing probably about 1,000 square feet, pending actual design inputs from the architect. Women's room about 400 square feet, men's room 400 square feet, and storage area about 200 square feet. Next slide, please. Photographs of the existing portable toilets. View 1 is from the parking area. It shows the concrete pad with the portable toilets and some wood fence screening. On the right, the black metal chain link fence shields an existing stormwater facility that we can't touch. That lead walk going straight into the distance ties to the main pedestrian walkway running north-south, as described a moment ago. Slide 2 is your view as you drive in, and the wood fence mostly screens but doesn't completely screen the portable toilets. View 3 is from the adjacent ADA handicap parking. And again, the black fence with the stormwater features are shown. Next slide, please. So we're going to need to connect water and sanitary sewer. Water is to be determined in terms of direction. We have to get a design going and work with Fairfax Water They will guide us on alignment and where to connect to existing. For sanitary, there's no way to do a gravity flow out, so it will be a force main. We envision running along the interior roadway within the park and connecting to a sewer main that's also within the park, as opposed to going north, going under the existing stream and open cutting Chambridge Road. So this is what we're striving for. Total project estimate about $670,000 includes the initial architectural design, permitting fees, construction, administrative cost, and some contingency. We don't know exactly what the price tag is. We're going to take it through design and then get a more accurate cost estimate. Next slide. Design concept, sort of a design precedent, is shown with this building here. This is at Sully Highlands. You can see men's and women's room with a water fountain, a storage thing, and the roof extends out past the end of the building just to give a little bit of shelter. In compliance with the master plan, we may be able to give a little shelter, but we wouldn't be able to put benches and tables in there without triggering a master plan process, but it would potentially shield it from weather or sun. Next slide. In terms of the schedule, we're having this public meeting mid-June. A 30-day comment period takes us to mid-July. The park board is in recess in August, so we'd reconvene in September with the park board putting forward a Mastonbrook grant. And with that, the terms of the agreement between Park Authority and MIS would be contained. The Park Authority would commit to $20,000 to the project. Assuming that passes Park Board in September, if MIS funding for design, not yet construction, but for design was received in October, we take about 6 months. That takes us through April of 2023. Put it in for the permitting process and expecting that to run about 12 months. It could vary, but that would take us through April 2024, allowing 2 months for bidding and getting a contractor on board. We would construct for 8 months, ending in February 2025, in time for the season. Now, one thing during that construction, if we can go back to slide 2, the construction will be contained right over where the portable toilets are. And it should have minimal impact on activities at the site. Main access to the site between the parking and the rectangular fields and the diamond fields and the other uses is at the far end of the parking lot, closer to the baseball diamond. So we would close the little spur between the parking lot corner and the north-south trail, but the trail would still be passable. So we anticipate minimal impact. And so if the community supports the MIS proposal, Park Authority looks forward to working with MIS on this facility. And that's our presentation, or available for questions.
Thank you. That's great, Andy. Appreciate it. So at this point, we are, of course, glad to take questions, and we are glad to take comments. And let me once again instruct everybody on how we do that. It sounds a lot worse than it is. If you cannot see the chat, please refresh your web page. If you wish to dial in and speak to us over the phone, please call the number located right above the video, 855-925-2801, and enter the code also right above that video, 4887. Once you dial in, the recorded message will ask you to press star for more options. You'll want to join the speaker queue, press option 3, and that will put you into the speaker queue and yet still allow you to listen to the message. At this point, you may want to step away from your computer. Again, there'll be a little bit of a delay and it's confusing, and we'll hear you twice. When it's your turn to speak in the queue, we will let you know that we're ready for your call, and the pre-recorded voice will prompt you that it is your turn. we'll ask you at that point to state your name, and you get a 30-second warning when the time is up. So I know we have a couple of folks asking questions in the chat. Why would it take permitting why would it take a year for permitting?
For right now, 12 months as a placeholder, we're submitting both site plans and building plans for review. The site plan has to go first. That will go through the health department with the force main, or just, the regulatory agencies. But then the architecture for the building will have its own separate review. And the trends we're seeing are a little bit longer. They're going to overlap the site and the building review. Hopefully we can get done quicker, but it's a conservative estimate.
Thank you. And Tim Hackman wants to just add for clarification, can you tell us, will the portable toilets be relocated and remain during construction?
I would anticipate that, yes, we would relocate the portable toilets to not lose that amenity.
All right. I believe we have a caller. Caller, can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me?
Good evening. It's Kerry. Yeah, I can.
All
Can you
right.
hear me?
Yes, the floor is yours, sir.
Very great. Thanks. It's Kerry Stackpole calling. I'm a resident in McLean, and on my home abuts Lewinsville Park on the western edge. I guess I have a couple of questions. First, I want to say thank you to Andy Miller for his presentation and the clarity of design, because that's certainly a concern for a park located in a neighborhood spot. As you all recognize, Lewinsville Park is surrounded by a series of homes and neighborhoods, and we obviously would prefer that whatever you design, I'll call it, is neighborhood friendly. So I appreciate the illustration, because I think that gives us some help. One of the other more practical questions is, who owns the facility?
The Park Authority would own the facility. The Park Authority will manage design and construction of it with MYS funds. And as part of our maintenance agreement, or part of our agreement, we're including a maintenance clause where the first few years of the increase in maintenance costs for a facility like this will also be covered generously by MYS, and then the Park Authority will take it after that. But it will be owned and maintained by the Park Authority.
Great. Yeah, I noticed in their proposal that they're saying that they would provide about $55,536 as lump sum donation. In the proposal that I read, it said that it was for a period of 10 years. Do we know, this is more of a curiosity question, where did that number come from? I mean, where does that number arrive?
We asked our park operations folks for the anticipated cost for each of the 10 years, to get a sum total. And then we looked at the cost we were already paying for the portable toilets, and the delta is the difference for the upgrade.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you. The other question I have is, who will control access to the facility?
It'll be managed like.
I presume we're not.
Oh, it'll be managed by.
Keep it open 24 hours.
No, and I can let Oliver answer that question.
Oliver, would you speak to that issue, please?
Yes, absolutely. Our other facilities usually have electronic locks, which I believe they lock automatically at 9 o'clock, but we can adjust the time for them to lock.
Yeah, right. With lighted fields,
okay. Well, that's helpful.
Probably adjust.
All right, caller, anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, the lights normally go off at 10 o'clock. There is one other series of questions I have, just real quick. Who's going to control the MYS storage facility? Who's going to have access to that? Who will be in charge of it? How's that going to be managed?
Our understanding is that it serves MYS. There may be additional Park Authority space in there. We just have to get into the design details and work with all the stakeholders.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The only reason I ask is that sometimes my experience as a neighbor to the park is that sometimes when I walk by the field, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. And so I just wondered who will make sure the doors are closed and the facilities are properly secured at the end of the day. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for your questions and your input tonight. We appreciate it. All right. Are there any other comments in the chat or any other callers? I know there's a slight delay between us and the rest of the world. We're in that vortex of some kind. But so I just want to give anybody else who might want to have a last comment a chance. Let me just remind you that we're going to have the record remaining open until Monday, July 18th. It wasn't that we couldn't count to 30, but we had a couple of holidays in there, so we wanted to extend it and make sure that we really gave sufficient time for any comments. Let's see. Also, can we just take a quick look and see if there's anybody else in the chat? I want to make sure before we call it a night.
Judy, let me just, if I may,
Sure.
make some short comments. And that is, first of all, thank you for those who called in, participated. We really appreciate your input, your insight to this activity and proposed project. And also, I would very much like to thank again MYS for their ongoing partnership, not only on this project, but projects in the past for fields. Our resources are obviously limited, and we couldn't do as many things as MYS has helped to make possible through its generous collaboration. So we very much appreciate it. I think this project will serve the Lewinsville and the greater McLean and Tyson's communities well. In addition to all the sports that Louise mentioned at the beginning, we are also adding some new pickleball capability at Lewinsville Park this summer, and to be completed by the fall, if not before. And so I think we have quite a variety of sports, and these new amenities would add a well-needed respite, so to speak, to the site and community. So thank you again to MYS and to the greater McLean community.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody on the team that would like to add anything before we say goodnight? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for their courtesy and remind you again that the record is open until Monday, July 18th. Thank you very much for your participation. Be safe and good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.